far, we have learned something important. Strategic thinkers don't start with solutions, they start with purpose. They understand customers before features. They connect technology to business outcomes. But here's where most tech leads still struggle. Even after they have identified right solution, they still struggle to make decisions. Why? Because every meaningful decision involves a cost. Let's see how Amazon approaches this. One of the biggest difference I see between an engineer and a strategic leader is this. Engineers often looks for best solutions, but a strategic leader often looks for best trade-off. That's a huge mindset shift because in the real world, there is rarely a perfect answer. Every decision costs something. If we optimize for speed, we might sacrifice maintainability. If we optimize for scalability, you may increase the development time. If you optimize for flexibility, you may introduce unnecessary complexity. Here's the mistake I see many tech leads make. They present one recommendation, but they never explain what they are giving up. Imagine your director asks, "Can we ship this feature in 2 weeks?" A task oriented answer will be yes, but a strategic answer sounds different. Yes, we can, but here's the trade off. If we need to hit this timeline, we'll need to postpone performance optimization to next release. If reliability is our priority, then we'll need another sprint. Did you notice what happened? You're no longer answering the question. You're helping leadership make a decision. That is why strategic leaders make trade-offs visible, not because they enjoy complexity, but because transparency builds trust. Here's the practical habit. Every time you recommend something, complete this sentence. This gives us so and so result, but we are intentionally giving up because of so and so reason. That's it. That one sentence changes how people perceive your leadership. Now that we have understood trade-offs, there is another question every great leader asks before anyone else do. What could go wrong? Most engineers walk into meeting rooms prepared with solutions, but strategic leaders walk into meeting rooms prepared with solutions and risks. That subtle but powerful difference. Imagine you're proposing a system integration. Most presentations end with this is the architecture, this is the timeline, and this is the implementation. But strategic leaders go one step further. What is most likely to fail? Not because they are pessimistic, but because they are responsible. Amazon has always been comfortable discussing failure before it happens, and that's what exactly builds confidence. Whenever you're presenting an idea, always include three things. First, what's the biggest risk? Be honest, don't hide. Second, how are we reducing the risk? What's the mitigation plan? Third, if that doesn't work, what's the alternative? Leadership doesn't expect certainty, they expect preparedness. The more prepared you are, the more people trust your judgment. One of the fastest ways to grow your executive presence is this. Stop presenting perfect plans and start presenting resilient plans. There is a big difference. Now, we have looked at customers, trade-offs, business, and risks. But there is one habit Amazon follows that surprises many engineers. They write a lot. Let's understand why. This is one of the most underrated strategic thinking habit. Amazon writes before they build. Now, why would one of the most successful technology companies spend so much time writing? And that's a good thing because when we speak, we can skip weak logic. We can fill the gaps with confidence. But writing doesn't allow us to hide anything. The moment we write, questions begin to appear. Is this assumption valid? Do we actually know the customer problem? What happens if adoption is low? And why are we choosing this approach instead of another? Writing forces clarity, and that clarity produces better decisions. Here's something I'd encourage every tech lead to do. Before presenting any major proposal, just spend 30 minutes writing one page. Don't open PowerPoint. Don't create architecture diagrams. Just write. What problem are we solving? Why now? What assumptions are we making? What alternatives did we reject? How will success be measured? You'll be amazed on how many gaps you discover before the meeting. And that's exactly why Amazon values writing, because clear writing reflects clear thinking. And clear thinking is what strategic leadership is built upon. Now, we have looked at 5 thinking patterns. Let's zoom out because strategic thinking isn't about individual techniques. It's about changing the way you see your role. This slide summarizes everything that we have discussed today. Execution asks, what should I do next? And that's the mindset most engineers are trained to have. Finish the ticket, fix the bug, complete the sprint, deliver the feature. Those things matter. But leadership thinks differently. Instead of asking, what should I do next? Strategic leaders ask, what creates the highest impact? Sometimes impact isn't adding another feature. Sometimes it's removing one. Sometimes it's saying no. Sometimes it's delaying work. Sometimes solving completely different problem. And that's the difference between activity and impact. As your career progresses, people won't remember how many tickets you closed. They'll remember the quality of your decisions. And strategic thinking is ultimately about improving these decisions. We have explored how Amazon thinks. Now, let's be practical. In the final part of this video, I will share you a simple strategic thinking checklist that you can use in every project, meeting, or leadership discussion. And I will share you how you can accelerate from an executor to a decision maker in your own career.